Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first ever Utility Genius product session. I know we're just a minute before 1 o'clock here, which is the official start time, so we're going to give everyone another couple of minutes to get in here. You may have noticed the webinar is being a recording, and this recording will be distributed after the event as well. All right. It's 1 o'clock now, so we'll officially get started. A couple of housekeeping items first. So hi, welcome. My name is Riley. I'm the product specialist on the Utility Genius team. This is our first product session, but make sure you stay tuned for following events as well. We're hoping to get into a monthly cadence of these. If you have any questions throughout the event, there's a Q&A option on the webinar. Please feel free to drop your questions. I'll answer as many of them as I can get to at the end. If we don't get to your question, I will reach out to you to get that answered, and I'll also pop up some contact information for you at the end of the event that you can reach out to our team and get any last questions or feedback answered. With that being said, we're going to dive right in. So being our first product session, we thought it would be a good place to start with our free account here. So we're going to focus on the free account features. We do have additional tiers as well. I'll mention just a little bit about those throughout so you have a full idea of what Utility Genius is capable of. But we're going to start with the basics with our simple rebate search. So when you first land on the Utility Genius website, you'll see this homepage with this lovely map. This map is where you can start your journey. So this is where you can search for rebates by state. If we click into, for example, Pennsylvania, this will take me to this page. I can see prescriptive and instant rebate availability in the state, as well as a list of primary utilities in the state. If you're not seeing your utility, you can sort to all utilities as well. This will be where you see some of those smaller munis and co-ops. We do track down to that level. Go back to the primary here. You'll also get a sneak preview of what technologies are available. If I drop into Pico, I'll then see that list of technologies again and some additional technologies that are available. So here I can click into any one of these technologies. Start with lighting. Again, you can toggle between prescriptive and instant. You'll see the rebate range when you're signed in for that product. We do per fixture incentive rates. We also do kilowatt hour savings rates, so the full scope here. And then we do offer a wide variety of categories that are incentivized in each of these programs. From here, you'll be able to click into a manufacturer and see exact product SKUs and the exact rebate available for those products. So if you're trying to go to the next level, you're looking for product information to scope out a project, for example, you'll be able to do that directly from Utility Genius. You can also favorite utilities by clicking this little heart, and this will save them. And also, if you're signed up for our emails, which I'll show you how to do in just a second, you'll get program change notifications when this program status changes throughout the year as programs are updated and terms are updated. If you're interested in more information about the utility, you'll see this panel off to the side. This will just give you some high-level information about that utility structure, including the exact name of their rebate program, some size information, there's commercial and industrial kilowatt hour rate, and then links to the main utility page. To draw attention to some of those blockers here, again, I'm showing you a free account right now. So this panel right here, if you're upgraded to a pro account, would give you a download of all of the available rebate information for a single program. This would be across all technologies and all product categories. It'll give you a rebate range for both their prescriptive and instant programs. Same thing with this compare button here. If you're interested in comparing a rebate program to other rebate programs across the US and Canada, this would redirect you to this view. For a lot of our pro features, we'll have a sneak preview so you can see what you're getting. the way this is laid out, you would see all of the utilities at once. These ones down here are blocked if you're on the free account. That's not the only way you can search for a utility. I know some people don't love to click through the map, so we do have other options. For example, if I go to the search, I can search for the utility that I'm looking for. So we'll use Orange and Rockland here. Again, you'll see that same view with all of the technologies laid out. Any technologies that are grayed out in this view means that that technology is not incentivized in this program, but we do want to highlight all of the technologies that we track throughout the platform, which is why they're still on this page. For some utilities, you may also see this Shop Instant Rebates button. This is another product of ours. It's our storefront product. So for some utilities, we have partnered with distributors to offer products at the instant rebatable price through these programs. So again, if you're going that next level to complete a project, this is a fun option to get rebates instantly in your cart and get products at a cheaper price. So this is live in Orange and Rockland, Con Ed, and Pico in Pennsylvania, if that's of interest. Continuing on this page, I want to drop down to this additional technology section. So everything in this top section, we track down to the incentive rate level. So if I go into HVAC, I'll see exact rate information for incentivized product categories in that utility. However, that's not the full scope of most utility programs. They offer additional rebate information. And so that's what this section down here is. This will offer you a list of the additional technologies that are incentivized in some of these programs. So if I click into the appliance technology, for example, I'll see a description of what this category represents for that program. And I'll see some example of what incentivized categories for that technology look like. This may vary for utility, so this information is going to be the same across every utility, but the list of available technologies will be different. But we'll give you this list to get you started and link you over to the utilities website so you can get more information about this technology and rebates that are available. On this panel, you'll see the other incentivized technologies at this level in this utility. So still in Orange and Rockland here, we know that there's also a compressed air incentive available through this program. Again, you'll get your list of incentivized categories and a link to the utilities website. If you're interested in seeing a full list of these technologies, so like I said, it can vary between programs, so the list may be a little bit different. You can hop over to our blog, which is available for free. There's a lot of good information on here. We distribute some of this information in our new quarterly newsletter to users as well. But here is this comprehensive guide of all 21 of those measures that are available in utilities across UtilityGenius. So that's an overview of the rebate search functionality. On this homepage, you can also toggle between the US and Canada. We do track both places. And then if you have favorites, you'll see those favorites listed here. If you want to unfavorite, you can also unfavorite from here. Speaking of the email portion of that I mentioned earlier for your favorite utilities, down at the bottom of this page, you'll see a list of recent program changes. So these are updated by our data team. You can, of course, see this list at any time of more recent program changes. There's a list of definitions of what these statuses mean in our resources section, which is where this webinar will live after this. If you're interested in getting these live in your inbox weekly, so you can make sure you're staying up to date with program changes as they happen, especially with these favorite utilities, these will be automatically sorted to the top of that email. You can sign up here. If you click the Setup Notifications button, will take you here where you can opt in to that email. That's the search for you. So we're going to get into our buildings and projects features next, which are also available with the free account. We'll start with buildings here. So for buildings, this allows you to track rebates, program changes at an individual location level. So if you are a property manager or a contractor who's working with specific locations, this can be very helpful to keep information organized as you're working on these projects. So you'll see here, I already have one created. I'm going to create a new one with you to walk you through it. So in this create field, you'll be able to assign a building name, an address, select the utility, tags, and receive rebate information for that program. So here, I'm going to name my building using PNC Park, which is the baseball stadium here in Pittsburgh. Then when you fill in your zip code, we'll automatically pull in the utility information for locations that only have one utility. Now, there are some zip codes. For example, if I use this one, this is a zip code that has multiple utilities. Here, you'll be able to open this dropdown and select the correct one. You can also add in your square footage, again, for organization purposes, or if you have a recent utility bill in front of you, you can add in your own kilowatt hour rate. Otherwise, we'll use the one that we have listed with the utility. You can also add tags here. So I'm going to use this baseball tag that I created for the other building I have. You can create as many tags as you want. So if I wanted to add Pittsburgh as a tag, I could do that as well. And then you can also connect to a project. If you, getting ahead of myself a little here, I'll show you this on the other side when we get to projects, but you can connect buildings and projects together, again, keeping things organized as you're working through this functionality. Here you can hit create a building and then you'll see this building again. If you open this dropdown off to the side, you will see a full list of the rebates that are available for this building. So here are all of the technologies that are incentivized in Duquesne Light, the utility for this address. You can open these dropdowns and get a list of all technologies that are all categories that are incentivized in this technology, in this utility. And you'll get a min rate and a max rate for each stream type available through this utility. It's a lot of information. So if you'd prefer to view it as a PDF report, you can hit this download report button. And then you would see a list of the rebates available here. So sometimes things don't go as planned, but it would be this same information listed out in a PDF report. You can also click over into these technologies as you're using the building's UI. So if I click here, this will take me to prescriptive control rebates in Duquesne Light, and I can see that rate again here. You can always edit a building. So for example, we have these different building types. These are, again, just to keep things organized. But if I would like to assign this as a sport facility, I can go in and add that after the fact. Or if I want to add another tag such as completed, if I'm working on a project here, I can do that, hit update, and everything will change. Going back to this dashboard view. So there are a few different ways to sort your buildings and keep them organized. You can sort from newest to oldest or alphabetically, depending on what way you would like to see your list of buildings displayed. We also have filtering options available. So you can sort by the territory that a building is in. This would be by state or by province if you're working in Canada. You can select as many of these as you want, and you can search through this list as well versus scrolling through it. Buildings. Clear those out. You can also sort by tags. So if I only wanted to see buildings in my Pittsburgh tag, I could sort there as well and only see those buildings. Now, you may notice here that there are a few additional features that are blocked off at this free account level. So just to shout those out briefly, there are additional filtering options and information availability for our expert account. With the expert account, you'll be able to take your buildings, select a LED product category, for example, high bays, and see the exact rebate information for that category for your buildings. So I'm in a free account right now, so I can't see what that looks like. But if you upgrade to the expert account, you would be able to pick a high bay. You'd be able to see the exact rebate amount on this map for both of your locations, and click in and get that exact information. So if you're looking to do a project and trying to scope out prospects, this can be really helpful to decide where your energy is best spent. From here, we're going to move on to the My Projects module. So you can access this both from the homepage or go directly there from this My Projects button. Pretty similar UI, but very different functionality. So here is the projects list. We're going to create a project. Again, with that expert functionality, you'd be able to upload a project scope from Excel. You're also able to do this for buildings. I forgot to mention, you can upload many buildings at once. We provide a template for you to minimize error. For buildings, you can upload for free. For projects, it's available with the expert account. Go back in. So projects are used to scope out energy savings and rebate amounts for an actual project that you might be trying to complete in a utility. So we're going to stick with our PNC Park example here. And then this is that link to building that I mentioned before. If you have a building that you want to link a project to, you can select that here and it'll autofill that utility information for you. Once you select a building to link to a project, you can't change this after the fact. So make sure that this is what you want to do, but you can always add a project to a building after the fact. Down here, you can name the room that you're working on, and then you're going to get into scoping out an actual line item for your project. So if I'm updating metal halides in the restaurant to high base, I can select from a pre-selected list of metal halide options. So I'm going to go with a 450 watt here and fill in the quantity that you're looking to upgrade. This quantity will drop down here automatically into the proposed product category, but you can always override this if you have a different number. Then you can select a manufacturer. This is a list of our partner manufacturers. At the free level, you're limited to this list. If you upgrade to the expert level, we do pull in every DLC and Energy Star manufacturer in those databases. So if you have other manufacturers you want to work with, that could be worth looking into. But with this free version, you're limited to just this set of our partnered manufacturers. You can select a product category that manufacturer you selected provides. So I'm going to look for high bays. And then you can select an exact product that manufacturer provides. So if you are looking through this list and you want to narrow down your scope, for example, this is a 508 watt metal halide. I know that I want something under, let's just say 220, for example. I can narrow this product list down to only fixtures that meet that criteria. So this one. You can do the same thing by lumens. If you have a lumen requirement for your project, you can filter to only specific lumen amounts. Down here, you'll see 3 cost fields. The only one that's required for us to complete a project calculation is the equipment cost, so cost of the high bay. But if you have an idea of what labor costs per fixture upgrade is going to be, or any other associated costs such as freight, you can add those in here as well. I'm going to save the project. And now you'll see the calculated project cost, rebate, time to payback, and CO2 reduction equivalency. So just walking through it here, this project cost is the quantity of fixtures times the equipment cost. Labor and other would be factored in the same way, the quantity of fixtures times that cost. Cost of waiting a year is the energy savings, and then there's this annual maintenance cost field right here that I didn't fill in. But if you know what the maintenance of the existing fixtures is in your building, say $1,000 a year, you can add that in and it'll impact your cost of waiting a year. The utility rebate, so this is calculated for the utility associated with this project. So here we have Duquesne Light. This would be the prescriptive rebate available for a high bay fixture. The time to payback is the time it would take you to pay back this project. And then we compare this to the time to pay back using that utility rebate to really illustrate the savings that are being offered in taking advantage of the rebate. And then the CO2 reduction equivalency is how much carbon savings are enabled by this project. Projects defaults to prescriptive. We do offer instant as well. If you toggle over here, you'll see that rebate number change to reflect the instant program in this utility. We do also have a report download here. This will lay out that savings summary here. So you'll see your current energy use versus your proposed energy use and that savings number laid out. You'll see your rebate amount here, as well as that cost summary. And then I love this feature. You'll see the environmental summary, which will compare the amount of tons of carbon dioxide that you're saving to some common metrics for that energy savings. So for example, doing this project would be the same as saving as this amount of greenhouse gas emissions for passenger vehicles over a year. And then you'll get your full project scope down here. So I've only done one line for simplicity's sake, but you could have many lines here. And they would all be laid out here. You'll get the proposed product information and then any costs associated with that line item. You go back to the dashboard here. It's a very similar set of filters to the building's functionality. So you can filter by territory. I go to Pennsylvania. I can see only projects that are taking place in Pennsylvania. You can also sort by project status. So for example, if you're tracking a project throughout its entire lifespan, you can adjust the status to the current state of that project. So we have not started, in progress, and closed. And that can always be changed. Similar sorting options for projects here if you're looking to organize your list in a different way. And then, of course, you can always search in both buildings and projects for a specific one. As you're working through here, you might amass quite the list of projects and buildings, and it'll be easier to search for something specifically. PNC, there's the building or the project we were just working on. Another feature I want to call attention to, and this is available for both buildings and projects as well, is this archive button right here. Again, if you're working on a lot of projects and buildings, it might happen over time that you want to hide those from view. That way you're not looking at things that you're no longer actively working on. You can hit this archive button and that will go away. Then you'll see this little toggle appeared in the top right-hand corner. If I click that, I can always go view my archived buildings or projects, and I can always unarchive them as well. All right, going back to the home page, that's a rough run through of our free account tier. If you ever have questions about what's included in that free account tier, how it might compare to some of the other tiers, I know I pointed out a couple of additional features that are available throughout UtilityGenius at different account tiers. You can always visit our pricing page here. And this will lay out, so this is the free plan right here. This will list all of the functionality available with that free account tier, as well as what's available with those additional plans. Or if you scroll down to this matrix, you can see a side-by-side comparison of what you're getting with each additional tier. So depending on how you best absorb that information, we have it presented in a couple of different ways. This contact form, if you ever have questions, is also a good place to get in touch with us. But like I said, I'll put up some contact information for everyone here as well to get in touch with us more directly if you need any questions answered or want to get some help. All right, so this concludes the formal demo portion of the webinar. We really love to promote that this tool is super easy to use. It took me about 20 minutes to run through the entirety of the platform. So we really do think that it's a great tool if you're looking to whether you're looking to get started with utility rebates or you're a seasoned pro, to search things really quickly and get up to speed. With that, I would like to open it to some questions. So if you have any questions at this time, go ahead and drop them in the Q&A box on your webinar panel. I see we already have one in here, which is someone asking about non-utility rebates. So if you work in the energy efficiency space, you probably know that utility rebates are not the end-all be-all of energy efficiency incentives. I do have some exciting news about this. So we started focusing on utility rebates, and that still is the bulk of what our platform tracks. But we are working to add additional incentives as well. So here's a little sneak preview for everyone here on this webinar. I go search up US here. So we currently are adding in federal, state, and private programs to our database. Not all of this information is available publicly yet, but if you're digging through UtilityGenius, you might find a couple of Easter eggs for what should be coming soon this month. I click in here. This is the US Department of Agriculture we have set up as a sponsor. So we'll have REAP grants coming soon, as well as you may have seen the US Department of Treasury here. And that'll be for 179D. The UI will change a little bit as we add these additional programs to better encompass the level of information provided for federal or private or state programs, but we're looking to incorporate energy offices for the states and then some of these big federal programs in our first batch. Like I said, stay tuned for that coming before the end of the month. All right. Another question here asked about custom programs. So I'm going to jump back into PA here. So you'll notice that we emphasize prescriptive and instant rebates across the state, but again, a lot of utilities may offer a custom program as well to sort of broaden what they can offer rebates for if there's a project that doesn't qualify for either of these streams. Oh, Pico has one. So we're back in Pico here, and you'll see this custom button listed under this top technology section. You can click in here. So this is locked because this is a pro feature where you can get the custom, but I'll log into my upgraded account to show you what this looks like. 1 second here. All right. So if you're looking for custom information, again, it's at that pro, that mid account tier. And we'll list out some rate info for the custom program, as well as the project cap and any pre-approval information you might need. Again, we're always linking back to the utility, so you can go to the next step, whether that's the application or if you need any more information. And we do have a definition over here of what a custom program is. I know some of these programs are not the primary focus of some people's projects, so just a little definition to give you some context on what that custom program is. All right. I've got one more question here asking about what sorts of national views are available if you're working at a large scale nationwide view. So we do have a couple of options. Again, they're not with the free account, which is why I didn't focus on them for getting a wide view of the national rebate landscape. Now that I'm logged into my, my paid account, I can show you this all utilities section here, which will give you access to every utility in our database. You can filter this down pretty precisely to get the exact section of programs that you're looking for more information on. So for example, if I'm working in the Southeast, I can look only for states in that area and get only those programs. I can do it based on program status. So for example, if I don't want to see closed programs, I can simply select open and in transition programs. You can also filter based on the pre-approval requirements for that program or the technologies that are available. So let's say I only want to see programs with HVAC incentives. I filtered that giant list down to just 34, and now I have a complete picture of what utilities have incentives for the technology I'm looking at that are currently open or in transition, so hopefully will be open soon. I can always download this information as a CSV file to do further investigation as well if I want to filter by certain CWI or CNI, KWH rates, or size of the program. If you're looking for a national view, we do have one other feature. Again, this is available with that pro account, so our mid-tier, and that's this filter by technology. There's always a sneak preview of this available with the free account, so you're welcome to go look at this information again for yourself. But here I can sort by all of the technologies in our database. So I'm going to go to my favorite example, HighBase. And this will give you a view based off of a calculation we're doing of what we're seeing as sort of a representative retrofit from this metal halide to an upgraded high bay. So you can see the exact rebate calculation across the US. On this heat map, the lighter colors are lower values, and then these darker values are where the highest rebates would be available. This range would be across all utilities in the state. So in Oregon, your high bay rebate range would go from anywhere from $180 to $360. Not everyone's a super visual learner. So if you're looking just to get a list of all of that data, and again, download this and do your own analysis after the fact, we do have a table with this information as well. We do prescriptive and instant. You can download this table of data and filter this to, for example, if you only want minimums over $100 or you only want programs that are per fixture, you can filter to that exact level. This isn't just available for lighting. This is also available for other technologies like HVAC if you work more in that space. The map right now is only lighting, but we're still offering this data table with the mins, maxes, and unit information for every technology in our database, like I said, so you can download this again and search. All right. So had another question come through. So in the pro level, would project level federal and state rebates be available once that's released, or is it only at the building level? So right now, the information we're providing with the federal and state rebates would be at that building level. So really just connecting you to the availability versus doing the calculation for you like in the projects. But it is something that we're looking to expand in our projects feature and be able to go that next step and have, connect you with exactly what a project is qualified for and incorporate that information into your scope. So the first step will be just the rebate availability, and some of that will actually be available for free as well. The next step to that will be some sort of screener tool, which would tell you exactly what you're eligible for, and that would be more of that pro functionality, and then we'll get into the specific project information. All right. I'm going to leave it open for just 1 second for any last questions. Like I said, this is just the first of these webinars. We're hoping to get into a monthly cadence with these. So if you're not registered already, go sign up so we can get you on our mailing list. And if you are, you can stay tuned to your email for upcoming sessions. So should be early May that we're targeting our second one. In the future, these will go over different account tiers. So I know at the end here, I sort of gave a sneak preview of those additional account levels. Future ones will cover the paid account tiers in more detail, offer time to answer questions about those, and then new features as we're constantly growing and expanding. Like I said, we're looking to add a whole new slate of programs into our database, including those federal, state, and private programs. We'll go through what that looks like when it's available. With that, I'm going to pop up just one last slide here. Thank you all very much for coming to the first edition here. Like I said, this recording will be available after the fact. I'll email it to everyone who's attended, and then it will be available in the resources section of UtilityGenius, so you can walk through this tutorial again. But if you have any additional questions, if you have any feedback about the site, or you just need, a little additional help, you can reach out to this email here, and this will put you directly in touch with me and the rest of our team, and I'll get you connected to the best person to answer your questions. There are also feedback forms on the site. So if you forget this email, you're always welcome to reach out to us via those support forms and we'll get you what you need. All right. That's all for today. So thank you very much again for attending, and have a great rest of your Thursday.